Lord, I thank you tonight for the beautiful fall weather this time of year. And pray that you be with us tonight. Help us make wise decisions. Pray for our country. Pray for peace in the world, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made, seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Y'all have a copy of the minutes from last month. Are there any questions, changes to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of last month. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. County Commissioner, Mr. Brad Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. A few updates from the county. I love leaving, but it's not fall yet. Fall doesn't start until about 2 weeks, so, but we'll give you that some that it is a lovely evening. I have updated you previously about the new requirement from the state in regards to what we used to call solid waste, the materials management plan. We were unable to find a partner that was willing to work with us. Ranch County was pretty interested, but they had already agreed to work with St. Joseph County. And St. Joseph County was just dead set, not including a third member into that. The unfortunate part for them and for the citizens of Ranch County as well is that that partnership would have brought along Hillsdale County's $60,000 that they will get for 3 years, plus an additional $10,000 for the cooperation. Would have been more money in the pot. Basically writing a plan for 3 counties rather than 2. 3 were reasonably similar counties. We already cooperate on the health department, so we thought that would be a good vehicle, but the administrator at St. Joe was dead set against that idea. So we will be going that on our own. So I will be updating you as we move forward. It's going to be a couple-year process. We may go outside of the county for help. I am not comfortable at all with using Region 2. Region 2 said that they would be more than glad to do that for just about $60,000, the amount of money we'll get the first year. And however, it's one of those cameras under the tent. Region 2 would love, we have not been a member ever in Hillsdale County Region 2 Planning Commission. And we would like to keep it that way, and they would probably use that as an incentive, basically saying that any money we were to pay for them for writing a plan would go towards dues that we would pay them on an annual basis. And so I want to look for some other alternatives. We will need to appoint our committee for that. Those are statutory requirements. There would be a township level appointment, one also from a city or a village. And so we'll have those appointments out on the county website here probably in the next few weeks. And Commissioner Ingalls and I will be working together on that to kind of get the thing moving. I really truly see that we will hire somebody, at least on a part-time basis. Interesting, the person who is doing Lenaways coordination is a part-time employee there, but she lives in Hillsdale County. So that potentially would be someone that she would be interested in having a full-time job between 2 counties. Something even though Lenaways going on her own plan, she would have the experience, but we probably will end up creating, because this thing will go on forever, it never goes away. The state is going to give us a little bit of money, 50 cents per capita once those first 3 years are.
50 what? You're going to get what? 50?
So we're 50 cents per capita. So 46,000 people in the county, it's about $23,000 a year. That's not a tremendous amount of money to hire somebody with, especially when you consider fringe benefits on top of whatever you pay them. So, but again, it never goes away. It used to be you wrote these plans and then you implemented them, but the waste haulers, they really did all of the heavy lifting on it. Now this thing is we have to do a county recycling plan, and we have to update that, we have to create a flyer for that, so a whole bunch of moving parts, so definitely stay tuned. Our 2025 budget process has begun. Those budget requests for next year were due to the Budget Committee or Finance Committee, as well as a request for reclassification or new employees to the Management Personnel Committee on the 31st of August. So that deadline is now passed. In fact, we had their first round of budget hearings today with our Budget Committee. Every department is invited to come in, present their budget, defend any increases that they're asking for in that. And once we get those all compiled, then obviously we will do just like you do. We will have a proposed budget. We'll have a public hearing on that budget. The public can have any input, positive or negative, on any of those items within that, and then we will adopt that. Generally, we adopt those budgets sometime in November. But as part of that, we also tomorrow will be looking at our annual millage levy and request to levy the full amount, much like you do, because it's heavily. We have to have that public hearing and to be able to levy that full amount. And so that public hearing will be at our second meeting in September, most likely, but we have to set that date tomorrow. Kind of as an interesting sidebar, there is a law from 1899 that says that the county shall levy a tenth of a mil for veteran services. In Hillsdale County, we have never levied that tenth of a mil. We have always made that appropriation out of the general fund. And so I expect tomorrow that we are going to hear a proposal from our budget chair that we are required to levy that tenth of a mil. It is a tax that does not require the approval of the voters. It's something the legislature allows us to do. There's a couple other things. There's a component in the law that says we can levy a fraction of a mil for economic development. I believe there's another component that we can actually have a levy countywide for roads. We don't do any of those things. So, but anyways, like I said, we've always made that appropriation out of the general fund. My opposition to that is very simply, it creates a shell game with money. Because if you have a tenth of a mil that is now a dedicated millage, if you can only spend it on veterans, it frees up about the equivalent of a tenth of a mil is about $180,000. So it frees up $180,000 by today's numbers that the Board of Commissioners can spend someplace else, or any future Board of Commissioner. So once that precedent is set, that enables Board of Commissioners then to have that additional pot of money to be able to spend, because it's not designated. It now becomes discretionary. So I really like the way we're doing it right now. We haven't required to do it. We've done it that way, evidently, for more than 100 years. Like I said, the law's been in effect since 1899, and I haven't seen any reason to change that. We do support it at that level. We actually supported it greater than that, because in addition to our appropriation for veterans, for soldiers and sailors relief, our veterans burials, we provide all of the overhead, the office space for our veterans counselor. Behind the scenes, we do all the payroll for that office. There's 2 employees, and we don't charge that fund for any of those services. So we actually are supporting that at a higher than a tenth of a mil required. So stay tuned on that. Next month I'll have a report on how that works out. Maybe there's something on the news media. On the 800 megahertz, tomorrow we will have a resolution to sign the letter of intent with Motorola. The amount in that is $13,841,963. That would be our contracted amount with Motorola. You may recall that the voters approved for us to borrow up to $16 million. You asked why the change. It's really not a dramatic change, because the amount to Motorola, we have always said that we need a 10% contingency. Any of you that have ever done a large project before, you know you need to have a contingency fund in there. So if you take 10% of $13 million, that's about $1.3 million. So if you add those numbers together, you come up 15.4 approximately. So the 16 mil really isn't that far off. And we will only borrow the amount of money that is necessary for that. If we do have surplus fund, we can't spend it anyplace else. Basically, we would just use that to repay on the principal on the bonds. So when that first And that project is moving forward. We are in a closed session tomorrow. I understand we will be looking at the purchase of at least one piece of property for an antenna location. Of course, we have one of those. We need to buy two more. One here fairly close to the village of North Adams, and then one down in the south part of the county. And the last thing I have for you, just a little update. You sit on the County Medical Control Committee. We had our quarterly meeting last month, and I don't see Dallas here with you, but in our fire departments, we have not had resupply available for our MFR drug boxes like the ambulances do down in the ER, that they can come in 24/7. And one of the decisions that was made there is we will have those available, at least 3 of them. So what that simply means is an MFR agency uses their drug box, they are out of service until you resupply that drug box. So if they have to wait till the following day, if they go out and call 11 o'clock at night, they have to wait till the following day when the pharmacy opens up, which is the case right now. Technically, that vehicle is legally out of service until they can replenish that drug box. So they would be able to go to the hospital ER and get that drug box replenished. The other item is that the new trauma director for Hillsdale Hospital was introduced at last week's medical control meeting, and that is a new position at the hospital. Prior to COVID, they were working on getting their designation as a trauma center, or they would be a level 4 trauma center. Henry Ford Jackson is a level 2. St. Joe's and U of M in Ann Arbor are level 1, and Borges is a level 1 trauma center. So Hillsdale, we kind of at 4 is the lowest designation, but they have hired a physician to oversee that, and they are working on it. And right now, they've actually received their preliminary approval as that level. And that concludes my report. Unless you have questions.
You have a question?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the annex has been sold.
Yep.
And whatever happened with, is the district court going to move out to Lifeways?
That is the plan, yes. So basically the timeline on that is that Lifeway's current lease ends on the last day of March 2025. However, we have given them a 1-year extension to that lease. So their lease will end with us on March 31st of 2026. They are in the process, they have a piece of property, but they have not disclosed that location, but they have, there's right now environmental studies on the property. So they are in the process of buying a piece of property, and their intent is to build a new building. They did receive an earmark in the new upcoming, starts October 1st federal budget, and so they did receive a pretty decent size, it was $12 million, I believe, earmarked towards that project, and so consequently that they are moving forward. Excuse me, I don't believe it was 12, I think it was 3.5, excuse me. I would have to double check the numbers on that.
So Lifeways is going to be doing the building.
But they will be I'm sorry?
Lifeways is going to do the building?
Yes, yeah, so they will own their building, it will be their own building, they are going to finance it, so it will be Lifeway's building, it will no longer be a county building, and it will not be on the Care Drive property. So it will be in the city of Hillsdale. They want to make sure they have dollar transportation and access to the physician's offices, things like that. So, but it will be in the city of Hillsdale. But again, they have not disclosed the location of that. So I am not aware of where they were planning on locating. But once they are clear out of there, then we will start to build out on that building, and it'll probably take us close to a year. We probably will go out for bid on that using an outside contractor. When we did the county office building, we used the county facilities department, and this time we will go out for bids on that and have an outside contractor do that. That is your question.
Well, so when do the other people take over the annex building?
So that we have right now
How fast does the district court have to get out?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have 4 years still. We have to start vacating the upstairs. We have another year, I believe, year from next spring to vacate the upstairs. So right now our probation, district court probation, and we have a counselor in the upstairs of that building. So they will have to vacate that. We'll find some space for them in one of the other buildings we have in the county.
Anybody else?
So you said that you will likely go out for bid on this, and that prior work, I think on the old Hillsdale Daily News building, was done by a county employee.
Right, we did that in the facilities department.
And that employee it was primarily one person that did the lion's share of that, was it?
No, it was really probably 4 people from our facilities department, because they all have different talents. Some are, masonry, and so, but, one of the things is that we no longer have an employee that has a contractor's license. We have to pull permits. So we no longer have an employee within our facilities department that is a licensed contractor. So we would have to have that. So that would be one component. Of course, that can change. So because we're still a couple years out, so we might hire someone. But my suspicion in conversations with our facilities department is that they don't feel that with all the buildings we have in our county campus, that we don't have the resources internally to take on a project of that scope again.
Anybody else? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Road Commissioner Mark Klein.
Thank you for having me. I have a report here that appeared on Facebook, and it was written up by Heather Boyd. I will give credit to Heather. She's been doing a really good job as our project technician. And her report is for the week of 9/09/24, this week. And the territorial bridges restoration work continues this week. Guardrail, pavement marking, and monument work is scheduled for this week. And it's scheduled to be open to traffic for Friday, September the 13th. On Creek Road, the timber bridge, the old bridge has been removed. The timber bridge was delivered last week. Crews will plan to continue constructing the bridge, and the road should be open to traffic by the end of September. Pavement marking safety project. This was a federal safety grant that we applied for, and it was based on the number of crashes or accidents on these roads. And what it will be is rumble strips will be put in. And the roads are Moscow Road from Sterling Road to Master Road, Bankers Road from County Line to the City of Hillsdale, and Territorial Road from Coke Road to US 127. There will also be reflective markings on these roads. Seal coat. I'm sure the people at Lake Bel Air are interested in that. We're not coming there this week. Sorry. They're going to be on Camden Road between Waldron and US 127. Now, Kim and Dawn Drive are going to be, stones are going to be put down, and then fog seal is going to be put over them both ways. So it's not going to be the, it's just going to be the fog seal. And this is what the asphalt materials recommended to do with that road, because of the old material that is still on the road. They figure that the stone will work into that, and then the fog seal will seal it over. So that's,
So no projected date yet.
it won't be this week. It'll probably be next week, but I don't know if you're on Facebook or not, but there will be updates regularly. And I always share them when I see them. And I gave word to the road commission to let me know so that I can let people know on Lake Bel Air. Under general maintenance, we're still doing pothole patching, mowing, pavement marking, scraping, and Reading Township's getting their second application of brine. And road closures are Hog Creek, Elm, and of course Territorial's closed till the bridge is built up. Other than that, that's about all I got to report.
Do you know if you guys are going to do any trimming of the trees on the side of the road?
We're doing some trimming now. They've, I don't know if you've been to the end of Lake Pleasant and State Street, the intersection.
Yeah.
They got a forestry head for their skid loader. And they went in and cleaned that all out so you can see it. And they're doing other intersections. As far as actual tree work, that probably won't start until this fall.
Well, I know they picked that one over, raised it up.
Well, for some reason, Bob Griffiths, the manager, doesn't want them to do that. But I think the next board meeting, we may have a conversation about that, because
A lot of trees in the world.
we need to do that. We also are gonna have a conversation on the berms throughout the county. We need to get something to get that done.
Adams Road, dirt on the sides of the road that would compensate for that drop. Do you know if you guys are gonna do that?
They're supposed to be doing that later on this month.
And checking out ditches to make sure they're deep enough?
Yep.
I'm saying,
And we've got culverts that we're replacing all over the county too that have failed. So we're not sitting around, we're busy, but. Any questions?
I got one.
Yes?
I didn't want to call. It seems like there's a lot more heavy 18-wheeler traffic on State Road. So I live just a few houses this side of Mills, and it seems like it's just extremely increased in the last 4 or 5 months, and they're heavy, and they're going really fast, and that's not just that first open straight strip. I was just wondering if any kind of policy changed on your truck routes, or?
No, at this time, they can, as long as they're hauling a legal load, they can use the road.
But it's changed, so that's why I was kind
No,
of curious.
there's not been a change. It's not a truck route or anything like that.
Okay.
But unless the frost laws are
Yeah,
on,
I understand.
they can haul a legal load, which, even with a set of doubles, can be close to 140,000 pounds.
Okay.
That's legal for the roads. I don't tend to agree, but then I don't set those rules.
Right.
I think they're too heavy.
Just seems it increased.
Well, there's
It's significant.
a lot of stuff going on all
Yeah, but
over.
where's it coming from? It's coming from,
Are these,
are they coming down 12 and cutting across inside on State or something?
no, it could be, I don't know, it could be projects that are going on.
No, different. I should turn my camera on and record some of it.
I don't know, there's
Cheers.
a lot of gravel hauling going on, there's a lot of truck traffic throughout the county. And like I said, it's legal for them to be on the roads with that weight now. But in the spring, no, they have to be on a designated truck route. Anything else?
speaking of truck route, North Adams Road from the village to 127, any word on that?
Haven't heard a word on it in quite a while. It's in the works. But what that is the rural task force in Hillsdale County and Lenawee County and Jackson County, I think Washtenaw County are all part of it. And it's a pool of money that they get from both federal and state. And you apply for a project like we did for North Adams Road. And then they set, each year they meet and they look at those projects. And then they say, well, yeah, we can do that one, or yeah, we can do that one. And it could be 4 years. But
Was that to turn that into Class A?
that would make it into a truck route. Is what that would do. It would upgrade the road to a truck route, which, and this is just my opinion, and that's what should have been the truck route instead of Moscow Road. It was a direct route right out to 127. But at the time, the federal grant for that was to link Horton and Jackson up with North Adams. That's why Moscow Road was made the truck route that time.
Thank you.
You're
Any
welcome.
questions? Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
All right, we're gonna open it up for public comment. Remember, address the board directly, do not address each other, 3-minute limit, and please keep it civil. Who's first?
I would just comment that I think a precedent was set at the last meeting that your time limits really don't mean anything now.
Well, it kind of got carried over. Yeah. Anybody else? No? Hearing none, we'll move on to old business. The gas lease, we had, been contacted on the gas lease, we pulled up the old one, we have a new one. This is for you to look at. So, not much has changed, except for in the name. Where is that? It's for you.
When is this due by?
Well, you'd like it as soon as possible, he's called on us. If we had
It's
something-
going on since 24.
Yeah. He'd like to, he just sent us a copy of the contract.
Yeah. I'll send it, if you don't have any questions, I'll just send it back an email on anything. Get it back to me this week and get something out to them, and then we can go forward from there.
Any questions on it? Okay, I'm sorry.
I said I didn't see this one.
I-
Yeah.
Everything's pretty much the same. It's a 30-year, this one's expired.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for it, and then we will have to, have it published.
Yeah, we'll send it to the county. And to the location and all that, before it's done.
Alright, so, this will require a roll call.
May I ask how long that contract is?
30 years.
30 years?
The old one was 30 years.
Yeah.
This is just a common practice with them. It's not that, and they don't change anything, just gives them access to their pipelines until 30 years, hopefully.
We had concerns on that when we were on the board, but I just don't remember what they are off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
I didn't, I know that this one,
Because I had them send a copy of everything that had changed. I don't know if you guys are okay with that, or if you're just trying to compare two contracts.
well, we
The
looked
old
at,
one has gone through, the crossed out.
yeah,
That's
that old stuff.
All those issues.
It's, instead of being Unicorp, no, it's Michigan Gas. So, I would entertain a motion to accept
21st too.
If-
Yeah, yeah, because I didn't know what you guys were gonna do, so I will go ahead and do the ordinance, I'll get it published so you guys can see all that, and then maybe drop it on a Friday, or I'll meet you here or something. Yes, it's fine.
New business, there is none. Treasurer, no.
Report as presented.
Motion made, to accept treasurer's notes as presented. Second.
Almost.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Bills.
There's one big bill because we paid the first, bill that came from the road commission. And that was for $38,040.86, that was for the limestone.
Any further discussion on the bills? Entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
This is for the general fund, correct?
Motion made and seconded. Motion made and seconded to pay the bills in the amount of $47,261.12. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Cemetery account. The amount of $4,236.66.
Make a motion.
Motion made
I'll second.
and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Clerk's notes.
We're almost finished up on the second one. He asked for about 6 documents. They've already come down. On August 21st, all the invoices were there that they pulled. So I expect it to be pretty soon that we have it all done. This is the final of it, so we should be all good. Just getting over the last election, the new one is starting. We'll probably, I'm gonna say AVs will start going out around the 21st, 23rd of this month. I'm still looking at different equipment. I wanna see what they had up at the early voting. I wanna go back over our space. I know we've got room for 4, but they have a voting thing that's about 50.5 inches wide. It's a square, but it'll allow 4 people to vote in it, which would take up less room than a second table. So I'm gonna go over and look at those and looking, it's the same one I talked to you guys about before, because we are gonna need, this is gonna be a big election, we are gonna need some more voting equipment, simply for the dynamics of the space that's needed with the AVs here behind. the tabulator and the, getting rid of the computer, get all that cleared off. Tomorrow, wind up by the 13th, so. I need groceries, so I'll go drop it off and get groceries tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
But I'll show them, but I wanted to see those ones, 'cause they didn't have many, they're not as wide, I don't think, as our stand-up ones are. But they appear to be really sturdy when I was in there. So,
I thought the layout on the primary was a good layout.
I do
It flowed, it went really well.
it
Coming
did.
down the hallways, everybody coming in every which way and every door.
Yeah, it was pretty well
I thought it went pretty good.
I just would like to be able, we need more voting, we didn't utilize all the room in front of the door, in fact, none of us. So that would hold 4, because you'd have them set up, just, that would give us 4, we still have this table over here for the 4. But what I want to do is measure and see if I can pull that out, how far we can get, I think it was a couple squares short, to get that, and then have 4 on each side, because that'll speed things up. I also, we've got 5 ballots, they're both sides, so to use the table to put them all on, I'm gonna see if we can't put them in the hall while people are standing, which would give greater access to use the table for maybe one set, for, you know, for the main one for the township. And have that place there, but then the affidavit cards, have people have access to print those out, and then give, you know, instead of having one person there and people waiting to get to her where the doodad is, that thing. And that way, that would speed up things also, because they still have to come with their license, and that's also going to be the same. But I don't know, because they have so many signs now that they have to go in the hallway. I just need to put
Can
those
those-
signs up.
Can those be posted on the wall?
I don't know, that's why I get asking if it has to be on the table. I think they just have to have access to it.
Well, and if it would have to be on the table, hallway, just wondering, there wouldn't be enough room.
Well, there wouldn't be enough room. There wouldn't be enough room, and then you're gonna have people, it's gonna slow everything down there for people to look. That's why if you put the ones out that you have to have for Jonesville, because it's all the school districts. If you put all those out there and put the 2 that are really Adams Township centric, then we could have, it would just speed up the process, because this is gonna be a really big election, and I don't want people getting discouraged standing in line if we can speed
Are you
it up.
talking about samples?
Yes.
I think the ring coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, because if we had the 2 samples for the town, you know, that directly affect the township because of the village elections. And then have Pat out there, which she's, you know, the lady who sits there will be monitoring that. Because she'll have to check everyone before they come up with their license anyway. But it would just allow more people to have time to do that if they were only reading the 2 main ones here, if I can put the other ones up in the hallway. But I don't know, I have to ask the county about that, or if they all have, the samples all have to be in the room where the election is. Now, some of these really small townships, I don't know how they do it.
Well, this is big compared to what we used to do.
Well, yeah, it is, but some of these townships are still really small, and we're in a couple of them, and they can be, the one in Cambria is really small.
Moscow's.
I haven't been over Moscow, Cambria is really small, but then it was a 1 ballot. But with 5, that's what, I'm just wondering if we could put the ones out, because people will get the gist, you know, the main candidates. And they'll, if they want to, you know, the proposals on the school, but the main ones will be here. But I just have to find out if I can or not, because I'm not absolutely sure if that can be out there. I don't think anyone would tear it down, but you don't know.
I have nothing. So we're gonna go into final public comment.
What about Peterson?
We issued another reminder to Peterson. Also, the Hillsdale County Inspection Office is involved into it, the health department is involved in it. And we are waiting for the 16th, and that is the date for compliance, and nothing happens by then we'll go back out and readdress it.
So what is that? Is that the
Peterson.
homeless sort of issue? So what did we do? Can you back up and?
We issued a zoning infraction,
Oh,
and
which statute or what part of zoning? I was just kind of curious about that, following it anyway.
don't have the book with me, but I wrote violation on junk ordinance, habitation out there that was illegal building. Campers that were moved in with no plates, had people habitating,
Yeah.
and we'll readdress it on the 16th.
So what's the 16th?
That's the date for compliance by.
Okay. And then what's the next step after that?
Well, we'll contact the attorney and then we'll go from there. I think that's how it works. Once you receive a zoning violation, then it goes to the attorney. Something
You
like
can
that.
just enforce it, can't you?
We don't have, we have to go through the attorney and actually file. It's not like I can go in and just,
No, I thought you brought the law enforcement. That's all right.
not yet. No. Not yet. We're working on it. Anybody else? Public comment?
Did I hear you say you're dropping off the tabulator? You're talking dropping off the tabulator?
They're just doing a service on it, because, some townships have problems with the rollers underneath taking in, and so they're gonna look at all of them. Ours coming out to look at all of them. It's a freebie, but that way, because they know there's gonna be a ton going through, and some people have trouble with them, so.
And are you leaving it right with the county unsupervised and out of your custody?
I am fine with that.
I'm just asking if that's what you're.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I would advise looking at statute on that under duties, but you don't do that around here right now.
Ready? Anybody else?
I was curious if the situation at Lake Bel Air that was at the last meeting, did you ever have a meeting?
Trailer?
Yeah, did you have a,
I did go out there.
has it been resolved?
If I'm, can I address this?
Yeah.
Alright. So I went out there, Kim Drive, just the other day, and we were complaining about these guys loading and unloading golf carts, and their trailer parked in the road, am I correct? That's pretty much what it was about, blocking the road. So when I got out there, I saw 2 lawn care people out there with their truck and trailer in the road, mowing these people's yard. No one else. So, you know, we're picking apples to oranges here. We're picking on people, but yet it's okay if this company does it. And it's okay if this guy puts his boat and his truck in the road and leaves it set there. I went by, drove down, went to Hillsdale, came back, the boat and the truck were still in the road. You know, so I did talk to the guy, and they got together, the guy with the golf cart company and the gentleman across the road. The golf cart company is gonna put crushed asphalt in and make a parking area where the semis can go in there and back out without having to go all the way down
Go
and
into the
around.
area, into the residential.
And they don't have to go there. They'll just be able to go in there, do their business and leave, and it'll be off the road. However, I don't think we can keep the lawn guys off the road. Or
Well,
the
we
guy.
commended you,
So
You're
I,
handling
Your school buses now.
well, yeah, well, my boss is doing
And the
that.
guy at the taxidermy around the corner, I mean, my God.
I'm just saying, you know, we got, I'm keeping an eye. I wanna make sure this is as friendly and
It's none of their business what he does.
I get that, but you know, neighbors gotta be neighbors. And we
They had the whole roadblock because they was all having a party.
And girls?
And I wasn't even invited. Can you imagine? Just think what I could have taken to that party.
Well, we're keeping an eye on it.
I do too, and
I just want to
I
make
just
sure.
pray to God that they just shut up.
We think we got it figured out. All right, anybody else on public comment? No?
Can I say one thing real quick? We had some preliminary conversations about redoing the Veterans Memorial here. Is there something we can bring to the next meeting on some proposed ideas, or is there any traction on that at all?
I checked with Jonesville because they have a Veterans Memorial over there. Theirs was way out of our budget though. That's it's the stone and the engraving. But what we'd like to do is have a plaque down here that has every veteran that's in our cemetery up here. So that if you come to the memorial, you don't have to walk around up there to see who is who. It'll all be on this plaque. Problem with that is that as you add more people to it, you have to have room. But we are still, if I can get it locked down on the rock, the stone, the plaque, the footers out there, and the walkway and the flagpole to put out there, rather than do our Memorial Day services in the cemetery, we'll do them here. Easier access, people are off, cars aren't parked all alongside the road, and everybody can attend. So that is still in the work. I'd like to have that, at least a tentative approval from the board on something before next spring. So yeah, that's still go. We're still looking into it. Yes, Mark?
You probably don't know Ted Brown, he's a trustee on the Cambridge board. I can give you his number, I got it in here. Ted, at one of their board meetings, I think they've got 2 cemeteries down there, and they wanted a Veterans Memorial. And Ted's quite resourceful, and he found a monument company in Ohio, and they sold him stone real cheap. I mean, real cheap. It was something that somebody ordered, and either didn't like it or whatever, so this monument company sold it to them real good. So you might want to check with Ted. I'll give you his number,
Okay.
and he might be able to help you out on stone.
All right. Any more public comment? Yes, Al.
And related to that, Rick Beach had mentioned before too about interested in doing something like that. I thought the village would contribute from the cost standpoint. You can check with them.
All right.
If you move forward with something like that, I would just remind you, consider putting it out front there to discourage ever turning that into cemetery. According to ex-supervisor Fred Fowler, they'll float there. They'll come right out of the ground. It's wet.
Yeah,
So
we're not looking, and after you had mentioned that to me before, we started looking into it, and we are not going to take the cemetery that far. We'll keep the cemetery up on higher ground so that we don't run into that water issue. But the memorial should be someplace where when they pull in, they have to pull to it, and then they have adequate parking. So the corner out here, which is the northeast corner, we go off the northeast corner there because we have geothermal stuff back there. So we want to keep it out of there. But yeah, I took your advice.
yeah, just kind of a reminder if, as time progresses, maybe this board won't be here anymore if nothing's done out there.
Well, it'll be
Who knows?
mentioned or put into something that. All right, any more? Hearing none. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
That should be